Hey kids, since the two of you have moved out, I've been pretty bored, so I've been looking for a new hobby. So I saw this online for free. The previous owner said it was running a month ago. Tecumseh engine, 4 horsepower. I see that the spark plug boot is bad, and when I went to pick it up, I gave it a pull to see if it had any compression, and the pull cord wouldn't go back in. So that's an issue. And I noticed that the bail is on the wrong side and it doesn't seem to be doing anything to that cable. That's supposed to move quite a bit to turn off the brake and to allow spark. So we'll have a look at that, see if we can get it going. The first thing I want to do is to make sure that this blade here is tight so it doesn't fly off and cut my leg off or something crazy like that. So I'll unplug the spark plug boot so the engine has no chance to turn over, but I just noticed that the spark plug's not even tight, so I don't know if this thing ran like the guy said it did a month ago. That seems pretty good there. So the blade needs to be sharpened for sure, maybe replaced. Actually, I think it's missing a piece. Yeah, that's broken off right there, so it'll definitely have to be replaced. I'm gonna try to get this recoil going first. This looks like it's broken. Yeah, we got a broken tab there. See the little dogs coming out there. Maybe it just needs a little bit of lube. I'm gonna try some PB Blaster. Lube that up a little bit. I see oil down in there. It's low. Oh, it's actually clean though. Unless it's water. So we'll have to add some oil before we try to start it. I also wanted to have a look at the gas tank, see what kind of mess we got in there. Wow, that's perfectly dry and perfectly clean. That's amazing. I noticed when I took that recoil off, I tried to spin the engine. It gets caught at the very top. I wanted to take the spark plug out and spray a little PB blaster down there and see if I can get that piston to free up a little bit. I think that's that brake on the flywheel from that cable that's squeaking, so I'm going to have a look at that. I want to get to the bottom of that scraping sound, so I'm going to take this cover off here. Missing a bolt right there. So it's actually the ignition coil that's rubbing against the flywheel. So I'm going to take that ignition coil off. Yeah, that's a lot better, so we'll adjust that. So we're in good shape there. I'm just looking at this cable here. I don't feel any kinks. I think it might just need to be lubed. I've got a little tool that I used to lube my cables on my motocross. I'm going to see if I can find that and see if I can lube this up and get it moving. There we go. Now I'll see if I can find that tool. So this little piece here just screws off. And I found my little cable luber from back when I used to ride. I take this lube and I put it in that hole right there. Oh, it's amazing the difference that makes. Tighten that back on. And we'll reinstall that cable, and that will work a lot better. I had some leftover evapor rust, and I know this needs to be replaced, but I figured I would run it through to see if I could get that rust off. Just for testing purposes, I want to just test this to see if I have a runnable engine, but it looks like I can get that cleaned up and get a connection there. I need a new boot for sure, obviously. The next thing I'd like to get going is adjust the gap on this ignition coil. I had this soaking in evapor rust. It looks like it cleaned up pretty good. Still need a new boot. We'll replace that. And I want to see if I can get this pull cord replaced. So I wasn't sure what size this pull cord was, and I ordered a couple different ropes. 0.146, and here's 5.5. .165, and here's number 5. .145. So I have another one that's 4.5, so half size smaller. Check that. That crushes right down. 1.12. Yeah, the quality of this rope isn't very good compared to this. But it feels better, so we'll give that a try. And if we have to change it, we have to change it.
Someone's coming to get the engine stand.
we go. Hope that was on camera. I'm going to adjust the length afterwards. Almost half scared to cut that off. Never get the other one in there. Sure, I'll have to adjust that length. Well, that's better. All right, recall when we got this, the ignition coil was rubbing against the magnets. I can feel a little bit of corrosion along the top, not where these magnets. I'm not trying to improve spark, I'm just trying to see if there's any corrosion that's going to cause that to rub on the magnets again. So I'm just using a business card. So we'll put that in there. I'll just loosen these up. The magnet pulled the ignition coil in. Tighten that up finger tight. That's looking a lot better. Okay, that should be good. All right, the next thing we need to do is get this cable installed. It's funny, when you first bring these mowers home, you don't give them much of a chance, but after you start working on them, you start to believe. I'm starting to believe in this mower now that it can be a runner again. Before we go any further with this thing, I want to see if it will fire up. So I'm going to put the shroud back on and the pull cord, see if we have spark, and see if we can't get it to fire up. I seem to remember I was missing a screw, a couple screws on this thing. I think that went like something like that. Must be one on the other side. Alright, next thing we want to do is finish hooking up that cable on the other end and get us on my spark tester, and we should be ready to try that. Okay, I'm going to add a little oil. It's a little low, it looks clean, but I can't even see it in there. There, I think that's good. I had trouble with getting this on before, almost as if it's not the right one. I'm not sure if it is or not. It's so tight, you can't get your fingers in there. Oh, there it goes. I'll get this thing off the bench and get a better shot at the cable here. When I got this, the bail was on what I consider upside down. I don't like it like that, so I'm going to change it back to the upper position. I don't know how it was supposed to go, but maybe the fact that it won't come out might be a good indication. I've turned this around and the only thing I can find online is an old stolen lawnmower that the police had in an auction, and they put it, or the one that's on the auction shows that the wire was connected on the left, which makes this wire way too long. So I don't know what's going on here, if this isn't the right wire or what, but I'm gonna see if I can bring the wire up the right hand side and click it in over here, see if that will work. All right, I haven't had any luck after lubing that wire, so I think I need a new cable. So I want to try to start this thing before I put any more money into it to make sure the engine will run. So I'll put a tie wrap in here to bypass that if we can. There. Now the engine should be able to get spark. And we'll put some gas in it. We already added some oil. And we'll see if this thing will fire up. I gotta tighten that spark plug up. Times. Let's see what happens. Can only hear that primer working a couple times. Perfect. So I'm pretty happy with that. The engine started, it hunted a little bit at first until it warmed up. So we're going to clean the carburetor. We're going to get the new boot for the spark plug. I'll order a new cable, new air filter, need a new blade. I think that was just about it. Everything else seems to be working pretty well. So I'm happy with how this one's coming along. We have to address this surging carburetor. So I think the easiest thing to do is to take the bowl nut off, and this little screw here I think is an air screw, and we'll clean those, and if that doesn't work then we'll have to take the carburetor off. I'll just put a clamp there on that so the gas doesn't leak as bad. There's a little passageway right there that I'll have to clean and see if that's dirty. There's a little cover right here. Let's see if I can pick the cover off. The screws underneath it. They don't want you messing with this screw, I suspect, so they put a cover on it. Screwdriver not too big. No, that looks clean. I'll stick a little wire up inside there, spray it with Carb Clean, and we'll start from there. Alright, I never saw any dirt come out of there. I'm going to get some carb cleaner and spray on that. All I had was some brake cleaner, so I'm just gonna let that soak for a while and we'll put it back together and we'll give it a try. While that's soaking, I'm gonna see if I can drain a little bit more fuel through the Alright, I let that soak for 5 minutes. I think there's a washer under there that's stuck to the bowl. I didn't take that off. I think it should be all right. My little cap. Alrighty, I don't know what is going on here, but I just noticed that somebody cut the side of the pull gourd shroud, so I might get a new one of those. The spark plug boot was damaged, so I picked up a new boot. I don't know if that'll pull through there or not. Alright, I'm not liking this. I'm going to cut my finger. This one here doesn't seem big enough, but that's what they sold me. I'll give it a try. I don't think it's going to work without taking that end off and re-crimping it. I'll get some WD and lube it up. See if I can get it to go on there. Perfect. Excellent. And I got a new air filter. That one looks like it's got its money's worth. There's the number off it. The next thing we need to do is get the new bail and cable on. I bought a new bail. This one's bent, so there's the two ends. I think the rest of it's okay. Much better. The old cable had a different attachment, and now they go with this little hook here. I looped that other one up, and I thought it was okay, but it's amazing the difference. It must have a kink in it. This one here, you don't even have to hardly touch it. All right, I'll put this cable in here. That just goes through that hole like that. And this has little ears that push in to hold that. This new cable goes attaches here. I might put a little cable tie right there. There, that's looking good. Now when I pull on the bail, that's working a lot better. We never ever did see if the starter rope was too long. I think I pulled through a little extra, and we were gonna cut that as we thought would be better. All right, let's get it outside and see if that surge is going. All right, let's prime it a few times. Fire it up, see. got a new blade to put on here. Spark plug is unhooked. Got a piece of wood. It broke right off right there. Other than that, it probably could have been sharpened. Alright, I looked it up online, and this is 450 inch-pound torque, which is 37.5 foot-pounds. Run it late, but let's get this thing out on the lawn and see if it mows. One other thing that I forgot to do was check the gap on the spark plug, so I'll take this off. It's supposed to be set at 30 thousandths. And it's not. I gotta get a screwdriver here. Yeah, that's perfect. Right on 30. See if I can change the oil here. Engine's warm. I don't know if it has a drain plug in the bottom or not. Probably does. A couple bolts under there are quite rusty, so I'm just going to see if I can get it out without making too much of a mess here. noticed last night that somebody has this in the wrong spot. That's supposed to be up here in this hole. So we'll move that. Easier to reach. So that wraps this project up. Thanks for hanging out in the garage with me. I'll see you on the next one.